Am I back? Am I back? Yes? Yes? I don't know what just happened there. The stream just cut out in the middle. Must have been a blip in the internet or something. But I am back. Don't worry. No idea when I cut out. But here I am. So, take 2 of this stream. Not sure what happened there. But thank you for checking in here. Brandon Romero, first in the house. First name, last name. What's good? To quickly reiterate the poll question, yeah, that is regarding basically doing a little bit more content. Not going to affect the flow of Cowboys or Mavericks content. You're still going to get all that. But Prospect was initially intended to be sports and pop culture, mostly sports. And so I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on if I was to do that content here. I think for the most part, most of you are okay with it. But there is a fair bit of kind of pushback, both from what I've seen on the Facebook page and here on YouTube. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm still going to do the content. Like, it's my channel. I'll do what I want. My brand. But I think what I'm going to do to try and appease everybody is I'm going to create a sub-channel for the Dallas Prospect called Cheap Pop. So basically I'm going to take the series name, which has appeared a couple times in the past on this channel, and I'm going to make it its own thing as well, a sub-channel. Yes, that's a new channel you would have to sub. It exists, but I have 0 branding on it right now, so probably good luck finding it. But, you know, you do you. But the idea is I'm going to start rolling out a lot more film analysis and pop culture related content. Primarily, probably starting with, first and foremost, the Marvel MCU. And that's redundant, Marvel MCU. The MCU and the lead up to Endgame. So that's what I have on dock in addition to this. If you like it, cool. If you don't, sorry, dude. It's not affecting your normal flow of sports. So at the very worst, there's videos that go up that you don't have to watch. So, with all that aside, Rangers King, what's up? Yes, let's get on to the subject of the day. The Dallas Mavericks put a whooping on the defending champion Golden State Warriors. Fun fact, the Mavericks have only beaten the Warriors, I believe, twice before last night since 2013. In both of those games, Steph Curry didn't play. Now, you may be wondering what relevance is that. I will tell you what relevance that is. That relevance is, oh, by the way, it's probably Dirk's last trip to Oracle where he scored his first career basket. Let's see here. Let's see. I want to pull up the official stat line here. Mavericks got a game today as well against the Kings, it looks like. Gotta love the delay here. John Travis, finally make it to a live show. Hey, man, that's cool. Guys, let me know. Is the stream lagging at all? I wanted to address that because I know some people have been frustrated on the build-up to everything because apparently the live stream after it goes up is laggy. Here's the thing. The live stream itself, from what I can tell, isn't laggy. When I record locally, it's not laggy. The audio is synced with the video. It's something when it goes through the YouTube process. But here's the kicker. When I look on the back end of YouTube at the ad placement section where I can put an ad at the beginning, the end, middle, whatever, it's perfectly synced up. It's only on the front end when you guys view it and that screen it opens up that there is an apparent issue. Why? I have no idea, but through hours of research, it appears to be a YouTube-centric issue. I'm frustrated by it because here's the thing. There might be, in this total runtime of a stream, there might be somewhere between 100 and 200 people that watch. And I love you all to death for that, especially the kind of P1 people here that are always here every stream. Greatly appreciated. My problem is I either have to stop storing previous streams on the channel until it's fixed, or I have to make it where I'm just no video and it's just like a graphic up, which the YouTube algorithm doesn't like, so it's not going to recommend me. But at the same time, then the problem is anyone who comes to my channel or doesn't watch my videos live but likes to watch them on the back end now looks at it and thinks that I basically have a shoddy setup, that it's unprofessional. And yeah, to be honest, I've seen a dip in subscribers lately that I think is related to that, because there are people asking why my streams are out of sync and why they basically suck lately. So I'm frustrated. I'm trying to figure it out. I'll see what I can do, but I'm probably going to have to make some kind of change up. Anyway, I got off topic there. Oh, right, the Curry stat. Curry wasn't in the previous 2 games. He was not in the game last night either, so Dallas has won now 3 times against Golden State, I believe, since 2013. All 3 situations were without Steph Curry, for what it's worth. Oh yeah, and Dallas, if you forgot, was one of those 9 losses for Golden State in their record-breaking year. Fun fact. I didn't even mean to hit the drop there, but you know what? I stand by it. Actually, it probably helps if I got the volume up. Let's hit it intentionally. Yes, sir. So Dirk Nowitzki returning to the place where he hit his first career bucket. Not his first points. His first bucket. Goes to Oracle Arena and starts the game just on fire. I mean, Dirk and Luka just set the tone for Dallas early on. Dallas shot out of its mind, I think at one point 16 of 32 from the field. Just bonkers shooting by the Mavericks. And they humiliate the defending champion Warriors 126-91. It was an ass whooping of the highest order. And it's got to be a little bit encouraging, or at least cathartic for Maverick fans, because yeah, they balled out. Dirk had a season-high 21 points. Luka Doncic notches his 6th triple-double of his rookie campaign. And yet, some people still want to tell us that Trae Young has been surging ahead of Luka in recent, since the All-Star break. And I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, Mavericks did work. Even without Tim Hardaway Jr., who I think since I last went live now is out for the season with a stress reaction in his, I believe, left leg. He's shut down for the season, so it is what it is, man. It's telling for sure when the Mavericks, pretty much led primarily by Dirk and Luka, ball out on the road and beat the defending champions. Gives them their worst home loss since 2007, in fact. Luka Doncic in just 27 minutes. 23 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, 6 of 14 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3. Free throw line is still a little bit iffy with him. It's been iffy lately. 7 of 11, but 3 steals, only 3 turnovers. He is a plus 29 for the game. Dirk balls out in 26 minutes, gets 21 points, 5 boards, and an assist. 8 of 14 from the field, 5 threes, 5 of 8 shooting, and a pair of blocks. One on KD, and I forget who the other one was on. Let me know if you know in the comments. I forget the second one. But Dirk a plus 25. Like, what the hell? We haven't seen that. Powell did pretty serviceable. Brunson made some plays. I'm still liking what I see out of Jackson there. Brokoff, there you go. There's some interesting bench players here. Career high 17 points for Brokoff. 5 boards, 2 assists. 2 of 4 from 3, but 6 of 8 from the field. Kleba also did work. Trey Burke, 13 points. And we got a point out of Kostas as well. So Kostas ties his career high mark, I believe. Did we get a... Wait, was that a point out of Kostas I saw, or was that a minute of action? Let me scroll back down. No, it was a point. So yes, ties his career high. He got his first point the other night. So pretty cool for the Mavericks here. This is a therapeutic win after, I think we lost 15 of 17. So to get this is very, very therapeutic in that regard. Now, for those freaking out about the tanking, don't worry. The Hawks won as well, thanks to a Trae Young game winner at the buzzer, I believe. And as a result of that, our odds didn't change. So, hey, good news. Good news there. Yes, Kent Ketchum blew the damn doors off Golden State. Yes, we did. And that should be encouraging for next season. Because, again, if Tim Hardaway Jr. was our second best player, we're without him now. So it was basically the Luka and Dirk show. And we got some role players to help us beat the likes of DeMarcus Cousins, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. Like, Golden State wasn't exactly limping in. Yeah, they didn't have Curry, but beyond that, they pretty much had their squad. Kevin Durant, 25 points. Klay Thompson, only 8 points. I'm surprised he struggled like that, but he got 13 shots, so it's not like he wasn't shooting. Draymond Green, 6 points, three rebounds, 2 assists. Good Lord. That dude wants Supermax money, too. And DeMarcus Cousins, a big man target for us this summer. 23 minutes, 19 points, 6 boards, 3 assists on 8 of 11 shooting, and 1 of 1 from the three-point line. I like that a lot. So, let's keep scrolling through here. Brendan Romero, I think Luka has too much on his back and is making him less efficient, but could help his development in the long run. Totally agree. Totally agree with that. Golden State is playing for the 1 seed too, so it's not like they weren't trying without Steph. Very good point. Let's be honest, Dirk ripped out their heart in the first quarter. He did. He absolutely did. And, whether or not Dirk opts to retire after this season, let's not forget, this was Dirk returning to the place of, if not his greatest failure, his second greatest failure. Whether you want to say the 2006 finals and the way that series ended up blowing a 2-0 lead in the finals was a bigger deal than this situation, wherein 2007 he's the MVP and he's beaten in the first round by the 8-seeded Warriors in 6 games. Whichever of those you want to call to, this was Dirk returning to not just that place, that specific arena. On his way into the locker room, he had to walk past the framed hole he punched in the wall after losing Game 6. And just, that was pivotal to Dirk's development, because that's when he went off with Holger off into Africa or whatever for like a month, just fell off the map and just went on a soul-searching journey and came back more focused than ever before. So really cool there. Interesting for anyone who doesn't know that, perhaps. Let's see. Flashback to 2011. Don't want him to retire if he's playing like that. Yeah, I mean, we got 8 games left at this point. If Dirk's playing like that, I don't rule it out. I don't rule it out that he comes back, because I know that KP is pushing for him to come back one more year. And if Dirk can be that good on a given night, imagine when he's got Luka, KP, and at least a third option on the court that's somewhere in that mid to kind of upper tier quality of star. Imagine that, the kind of spacing they can get, the kind of damage that they can do. Dirk's potential is significant if he comes back. I would love to see one more go, even though people are making it a little bit awkward here. Everywhere he goes, they're acting like he's the send-off, and I don't agree with Kevin Durant often, but Kevin Durant did make a very good point. Let me find it here. So Kevin Durant basically, if I find the exact quote, I'll read it. But Kevin Durant talking about Dirk, people were asking him to give kind of his thoughts on Dirk's career, and Durant essentially said, has he said he's retiring? I haven't heard that he said he's retiring yet. People are just trying to make his mind up for him effectively, whether that be the media, whether that be fans every city he goes to. People have just assumed, yep, this is it. And for most of the year, for 50 games, I felt like, yep, this is it. But that's not the case anymore. It looks now like there might be some fuel left in that tank. Now, he's got to see how he feels. And if you pay attention to what he's been saying over the last couple months, his tone has shifted to at least sounding more open to returning. He always cautions, got to see how I hold up the last few weeks, got to see how I feel by the end of the season. I'm raising my chance that Dirk comes back, that Dallas says, look, we got KP next year. We're going to have at least another solid guy as well because of the money we have in free agency. We can at the very least get you back in the playoffs one last time. And Dirk has more than deserved that, more than earns it. So just let's see what happens, man. pretty sure OKC would rather have the 2nd seed to avoid OKC. Man, OKC has been in near free fall post All-Star break. I know they just beat the Raptors at home, but man, they fell to the 8th seed because they lost 4 straight. And thankfully, because someone else lost, they jumped all the way back to the 5th seed. And then they beat the Raptors. So their ranking, their seeding doesn't look awful, but they've been in free fall. So I don't know. Maybe they right the ship right before the break, but we're less than 10 games now. So I don't know what to say about their current state. So, triple-double in 3 quarters. Yes, sir. Ass whooping. I love how Trey just had the floater against the 76ers, but still no contest for Rookie of the Year. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that actually brings up a point I wanted to make earlier. So you got to love sometimes what you find on Twitter. And this is, I'm going to quote the Luka Doncic News, at Luka Doncic News on Twitter. He's responding to someone saying that Trey has, quote, outplayed Luka in the second half of the season by a wide margin. Now, that was in response to Donovan Mitchell and I think Kyle Kuzma calling for Trae Young to win Rookie of the Year. First of all, interesting, Donovan Mitchell. Well, we know Donovan Mitchell has a history of losing the Rookie of the Year, but I mean, that is what it is. But the stats that Luka Doncic News puts out there in regard to Luka being outplayed in the second half of the season by a, quote, wide margin by Trae Young is, here's the stat line. Trae Young, second half of the season, 22.2 points. Luka Doncic, 22.8. Rebounds for Trae Young, 4.4. Rebounds for Luka Doncic, 8.8. Doubled them up, son. Assists, 8.5 for Trae Young. 7 for Luka. And you want to tell me that he's outplayed him by a wide margin. Man, Luka's efficiency might have dropped off in the second half of the season. But, man, he's doing the same stat line. Still better than you. And now he's got 6 triple-doubles. You got 1. It's not a competition. Like, I know people want to make it a competition. And it's funny to me that you have players like Mitchell and Kuzma kind of sounding off and talking about it. I don't buy it, man. Like, players are who kept Luka out of the All-Star game. And for the record, they also kept out guys like Damian Lillard in favor of Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is a great story this year, a great story, but the narrative beat out the talent. Should have been Damian Lillard or Luka Doncic getting the spot. Now, Luka's a front court player. Don't at me. I know. I'm just saying it was players that kept Luka out. So it's interesting to me that it's also players now trying to pivot and run with the narrative that because Trae Young hit a game winner, suddenly he's the Rookie of the Year. Even though if you look objectively at the stats, Luka has been just as good as him in the second half of the season. And if you put his whole year, his whole resume out there, it runs Young off the floor. I digress. So, let me see here. Luka's defense on KD. Yeah, that was nice. We need Tim Hardaway Jr. for the tank. Well, Hardaway Jr. is done for the year, so not getting him back, unfortunately. Luka's three-point percentage has been pretty rough lately. It has. It really has. And even in this game last night, he was, I think, 4 of 11 on threes. I think it's conditioning. I really do. Like I said, an NBA season is more compressed. There are back-to-backs, which you don't have in the EuroLeague. And then you add in the fact that he's having to carry this workload, especially after the Porzingis trade. And I just think that it has worn him down. And that's going to affect your outside shooting. But he's still in control. He's still finding other ways to affect the game. I'm not worried about it if efficiency is all that's dropped off. But you want to talk efficiency, like true efficiency. Don't just look at offensive end. Look at Trae Young defensively. He is abysmal. He's in like the bottom percentile defensively this year. Luka's at least middle of the pack. So, yeah, if we want to talk like true efficiency, don't worry about it. It's still all the way Luka. Kostas needs time, says Chef Gumby. Yes, he does. He's gotten a little burn here lately, and I'm hoping he can keep building on it. We certainly have nothing else to bank on for the rest of the season. So, yeah, I would love to see more Kostas. I'd love to see what he can do. I liked that Luka jumped on his comments basically on Twitter after Kostas just kind of, did the whole thankful emoji thing, talking about his first points. Luka jumped in, chimed in, and basically said, hey, first of many, let's get it. I like that. That's good leadership there. Team is better without Tim Hardaway Jr. I think with him being the sixth man and more firepower in the starting lineup, that he would do fine. But regardless, he's probably there for a little while unless they can figure out some deal to throw him into the mix for. I love how people ignore the rebounds when they compare Luka and Young, says John Travis. Yeah, and they act as if like, well, yeah, Luka's 6'8", Trae Young's like 6'2", so it's a given. Okay, well, if it's a given, then how come Trae Young's not averaging that many more assists than Luka? Like, the assist should be the given in his case. Because Luka wasn't really playing point guard until right before the All-Star break. Not consistently, at least. Not point Luka. So, it's different. I've heard Luka is going through strength training since the All-Star break. Perhaps it's affecting his shooting. And yeah, if that's the case, it absolutely will. If you're continuing to do that, let alone the grind of a full season, yes, it will have an impact on you physically. It will take away your legs for outside shooting and mess with your kind of touch on those shots a little bit. Rough or even, if Tim Hardaway Jr. is a starter next season, we've got a problem. Yes, we do. Young will never, ever, ever be able to rebound. Luka will all the time. All the time. I agree. Marcos Levy, what's good? Justin Jackson is better than Tim Hardaway Jr. Hardaway has not had a good impact for us this year. His whole career, he's been either red hot or ice cold. I tend to think that if you can put more weapons around him, which he's not had the last several years because, let's face it, he was on the Knicks. Other than KP, he hadn't had a whole lot of that. You give him more firepower around him, I think that you will get better results out of him, especially if you can then move him to the second unit and kind of better control the personnel he's out there with and who he's going against. So, we'll see. I still have some faith in the Tim Hardaway situation. The whole arena was quiet thinking the Warriors were going to make a comeback, but nope, they got nothing. Man, the Mavericks were up 35. They were spanking the Golden State Warriors, and fans started getting chippy when it was, what was it, like 91-54? Maybe not quite that stretch, but it was crazy deficit. KD goes to the basket and Dirk rips him, and the crowd starts booing because there's not a foul call. And I'm like, just sit back. You've been to the finals 4 straight years. You're almost a shoo-in again this year. Just miss me with that crying because you're finally getting a little slice of humble pie. Just a sliver of humble pie, and you got to be all mopey about it. As a black man, I am tired of Americans hating the great European player just because Trae Young is a brother. Yeah, agree. Well, the premise of it, obviously, I can't. I mean, I'm making it awkward. I guess move on. Did you see how hard Cousins fouled Luka on that and one shot? My God, it was a hard foul from a big guy, and Luka still took it home. Yeah, and that gets respect. Like, I know Cousins showed some frustration, tried to bully the rookie a little bit, but that's the kind of thing where if the Mavericks want to meet with Cousins in free agency, Cousins is going to remember that. He's going to think, he's been showing out, rookie of the year, should have been an all-star, and when I basically tested his mettle, he stood up and took it. So that's going to stick with them, and that might be critical when you're talking about who someone wants to play for and play with. Jackson could change direction. Oop. Jackson could change the direction of the team. Yeah, I think so. Here, I'm going to start sifting through these in rapid succession. We need to find a way to trade the $12 million of Courtney Lee. I definitely would not mind that. Courtney Lee is an okay player. He's the kind of guy that is always popular in the buyout market, but I just don't see much of a role here for him, honestly. Certainly not at the salary he's going to be getting. I know NBA salaries are inflating, but it doesn't make sense to me in the long run. I would rather move him as part of a deal. I guess you're a Bucks fan. Different conversation. Luka's a lock for Rookie of the Year, says Connie. Yes, I agree. Luka was an all-star, but they didn't put him in because whatever. Yep. Hype Emperor. Love Mavs and Cowboys chat. No more Marvel or any of that hot garbage, LOL. Well, considering I haven't done any Marvel or anything on here yet, I don't fully understand what you mean. But the thing is, High Emperor, you still get the regular content even if I were to put it on this channel. But as I said earlier, I think what I'm going to do is create a sub-channel so you don't have to worry about it anyway. It'll be a different channel, still be me talking, and it'll be associated with Dallas Prospect, but it's not the Dallas Prospect, so no worries. It's not going to affect the normal flow of sports talk. Second votes of all of the NBA. I don't even remember if Trae was even voted. Yeah, Trae Young didn't get any momentum. Trae didn't start really breaking out until the second half of the season. That's why it's funny people are a slave to the moment, so to speak, and saying like, oh, it's Trae Young, Trae Young. Well, the thing is, they stopped being just stunned and amazed by everything Luka does, and now they're looking at it like, all right, well, this is normal now, so look over here. Oh, look how much better he's doing. Yeah, we have a race here. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're trying to manufacture a race just to keep it interesting, but it's not working. Luka's put the team on his back 3 times against the Rockets, T-Wolves in their building, and the Pacers. Yes, he did. KD about to be a snake and join the Mavs. I don't know if I'd call him a snake for joining the Mavs. That's going to a team that missed the playoffs. The snake move he already did. The Knicks wouldn't be a snake move either. A snake move at this point would be if he was like, I'm going to go to Boston. Or I'm going to go to... Where's another place he could go that would be in that same vein? I don't know, Milwaukee, just because of what they have foundation-wise now and how good I think they're going to be. I'm sure that makes Austin happy. Trae Young's one game winner makes him Rookie of the Year, question mark. Yeah, I get you, man. I get you. Worst defender in the league is Trae Young, yep. Do you think the Mavs will try for Kidd this offseason? For Kidd? Talking about like Jason Kidd? As what? As an assistant? Or advisor? Or do you mean KD by Kidd? If they can get a meeting with him, sure, they'll take the meeting. Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? I've made it clear how I feel about that. I don't think that it makes perfect sense. It makes them an instant contender for years to come, but I think that there is a lot of risk for it regarding the locker room culture and the general mindset of guys like Luka and KP. It is what it is. I think you're selling your soul, and you better hope that you're... Okay, you were talking about KD. I think you're selling your soul if you do it, and you better hope that you can get at least one championship while KD's here, because instead of having 7, 8, whatever years of Luka and KP together, KD could come in here and kind of poison those waters a little bit, because we know he has no loyalty to a team or a franchise. He's going to do what's best for him. That's what he said in his own words, going to Golden State, the team that he choked against in the Western Conference Finals in 2016 with a 3-1 lead. And so that's what they're going to talk about. So you might end up having only a few years of Luka and KP together if KD takes a swim through here. So that's my reluctance on the KD front. Plus, I think while he would be a great add, he burns up essentially all of the money you have left, most likely, to make substantial moves. I would rather make 2 to 3 solid to very good moves as opposed to the one mammoth move that eats up all of my cap space, because you got a whole roster you got to fill out. And there will be pretty significant turnover before next season's roster on opening night rolls out, I believe. It's not about the NBA season length. Luka didn't have an off season the last 2 years. Spanish League, Euro basketball, NBA, no free time. Well, he'll get some benefit out of, unfortunately, this extended offseason then as the Mavericks aren't making the playoffs. But I'm not upset. I'm hopeful and excited for the future, and I want to see what they can do, for sure. Luka's three-point percentage is some conditioning and is because of the offense is so bad he has to throw up multiple late second threes in a game. Yeah, I can see that. Doncic getting blocks and steals. Trey has T-Rex arms. That he does. And as I've said before, people who assume that I just hate everything about Trae Young, I don't. He went to my same high school, from my same hometown. Like, obviously years later, I'm 29 years old, so it's not like there was any crossover there, but I saw the kid play. I saw him play in high school. Like, I get it. He's good. I watched him at OU. I admit, I said I thought he was a boom or bust player. He looks like he will, on the whole, be a boom, but that doesn't mean his boom is as big as Luka Doncic's boom. Certainly not a pow. That's a terrible joke. I'm going to rewind that back and pretend it didn't happen. But it is what it is. Oh, starting to see people tag. Hold on. Almost caught up. Almost caught up. Got to pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Westbrook averages a triple-double. What is his height? Westbrook is 6'4". 6'4", I believe. And he's averaged triple-double the last 2 years, and he'll average one again this year. Luka is 6'8", but he averages a lot of rebounds for his size. Cowboys X Factor, what's good? Great win for the Mavericks last night. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Roscoe Dash. Hardaway Jr., good six-man. That's what I've been saying. Dirk has a classic game, and I hope Hardaway Jr. is healthy and ready to go next season with his injury. I think he will be. I do. I think he'll be pretty good next year by then. He had a stress reaction. It's the same issue he's had in the past, but we'll see. Oh, hey, we have a troll, Peyton Arms. It's funny because y'all actually think the Mavs are good. I'm weak. Well, I mean, that's a weak insult, so you're not wrong. But none of us are saying the Mavs are a good team. We're saying there are nice pieces to the team, and that if they can do something this summer, they can be a good team by next season. So I'll put up my prediction that the Mavericks are a playoff team next year. I mean, is that what we qualify as good? I mean, that's nearly 50 wins usually. It's at least 46. So if they're a playoff team next year, yeah, they're pretty good. Right now? No. They've been bad right now. As I said earlier, they lost 15 of 17 before destroying the Warriors. Just wave and stretch Courtney Lee. Lakers will take Courtney Lee. Lakers need 500 players and 10 coaches to make the playoffs. Lakers are out. Rangers King, what's good? With the Sweet 16 coming through, can we start to do a bit of coverage on it? Yeah. If you want to come on one of these next shows and start talking about the tournament and some prospects and all of that in particular, all for it. All for it. Love the passion. You seem to get a little upset when talking about the Rookie of the Year race. Love it. Thanks. Porzingis, Baller Brunson, Goran, the Savage Dragic, and Nikola Vucevic. That's a lot of international talent. I don't think they have the money, though, to afford both Vucevic and Dragic. Vucevic is going to claim nearly a max contract, which would eat up all of that remaining cap space of roughly $30 million we have. Let me see here. If you haven't already, guys, take a second. Like the video, subscribe, all that jazz. Wojed Kidd is a candidate for the Lakers. Oh, there you go. I wouldn't mind seeing Jason Kidd back in the league as a coach. I think he's a fine coach. I don't think he was the problem at all in Milwaukee. I just think they didn't quite have enough of the team around him yet, around Giannis yet, to do a lot with. And Giannis was very upset when they fired him. So that tells you a lot right there. Great analogy, Dallas prospect. By the time I got to this part in the thread, I'm unclear on what my analogy was in particular. But I'm going to say, hey, I'll take it. Brokoff and Jackson should play more next year. Yes, sir. I've been wanting us to go for broke, so to speak, all year. I want to see more Brokoff. He gives you 17 points last night. He is the kind of guy who I think could excel next to KP and Luka next year. Kemba and Luka. Teams can no longer trap Luka or Kemba. Yeah, I mean, that'd be good. The only problem with Kemba is he does need the ball in his hands quite a bit. And obviously that then therefore takes it out of Luka's hands. The thing is, you can't have the ball in Luka's hands 100% of the time. You just can't. You got to have some balance in there. So how Kemba could do being a little bit of an undersized point guard, not having the ball in his hand always, that would be what I'm curious about. But I'd be interested in Kemba. I don't think he's the best fit on the free agent market for us, though. Eric Anthony, what's good? Even if KD comes here, Luka would be a fool to take the qualifying offer if the Mavs have any success at all. KP about to get locked up for 5 years. And if that's the case and KP looks like himself, then yeah, it's probably not an issue. But we'll see. I like that our current viewer count is 41 in honor of the tall baller from the G. That just brings a little smile to my face. It just makes me feel just a little bit happy here. Just a little bit happy. Who's the a-hole that dropped out to put us at 40? You're dead to me. Brogdon is the man I want. Yeah, Brogdon's pretty solid. I'd be happy with Brogdon. All the media talks about is LeBron. Obsessive. They are obsessive. 50, 40, 90 for Brogdon. Yes, he did. Now, he's done for the regular season, I believe. I think he'll be back for the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes, he is part of the 50, 40, 90 club. Brogdon would interest me a lot. Best Mavs talk on YouTube. Appreciate that. Let's see. Ready for draft talk? Yes, we're getting into draft talk here soon. I don't have it ready yet for today. That's going to be what I'm rolling out starting next week. And Annie and I have been talking as well. I think it's on the 14th. Whenever, I can't remember if it's this next month. Yeah, whenever they do the lottery drawing, Annie and I are talking about live streaming and giving our instant reactions as it comes down. So we'll have something like that on here as well for you guys. Do you think Luka will leave someday? I hope not. In today's NBA, never say never. More often than not, the superstar does eventually leave. That's just the game today. Rare exceptions of guys that'll stay. The best examples at this point are Westbrook, Damian Lillard, obviously Dirk, who's still here. But Dirk's a dying breed at this point. You're not going to have another Dirk in that regard. I just don't see it in today's NBA. If we hit a rough patch of a couple years after the window has closed for that current core, I could see it, but I'm hoping that we at the very least have 6 to 7 years of Luka. Pretty much this rookie deal plus almost all of his next deal as well, which will be a max. Mavs can use the Courtney Lee to get Dragic or their trade exception. That'd be interesting, and we know Luka has a lot of history with and kind of admiration for Dragic as well. They played together previously. Sometimes when I wake up, I can't believe we potentially have the next Dirk. Potentially. Yeah, it's incredible. The way it worked out, we had the third best odds to get the #1 pick last year in the lottery, and we wound up kind of getting screwed by the ping pong balls. We wound up with the 5th, and we had to find a way to swing a trade, and we got lucky that Atlanta was 3rd and that they were so fixated on Trae Young that we were still able to get our guy, because if he doesn't go #3, I think he was probably going to go after. And Trae Young wasn't going to be a top 3 anyway, so I think they probably would have just looked to make a deal with someone else. So Luka might have still gone 3 and been traded to someone else, or he might have gone 4th right before us. It's just hard to say. You got to strike when you know that's the guy, and that's what they did. J. Kidd told Middleton to miss a free throw in the playoffs when they were already up 3. Interesting. I forgot about that. That is true. Mavs aren't going to be a playoff team next year. Well, we'll see. We shall see. But if they are, jump back in here by all means and acknowledge you were wrong. Or if you're right and I'm wrong, jump back in here and I will give you a tip of the hat. I'll shout you out. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, whether it's in a prediction or an analysis or whatever. I don't hide from it. At least a handful of people in the comments, probably right now, can confirm that if I say something stupid or I'm wrong, they'll call me out on it and I'll correct it. Isn't the drawing in June? It might be. Whenever it's the 14th. I forget the month. I know that's an odd detail. You'd think I'd have it the other way around figured out. But whenever it is, Innie and I are talking about doing it. I know it was like a Tuesday or something weird. Lottery not until May. Okay, there you go. It's like May 14th. Let me just take a look. Is that a Tuesday like I thought? Haboosh. Yeah, Tuesday. Tuesday, May 14th is the lottery drawing. Whenever that comes around, Innie and I will try to do a live stream. At the very least, I will, to give you the instant reaction and all that. Tell you what I think it means for the Mavericks, whether they get to keep the pick or if they don't get to keep the pick, then we'll just go from there. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff to talk about at that point. Let's see. Brunson is creating some nice chemistry with Luka. I like Brunson a lot. I'm still not certain he's my starter for the future, but I do like Brunson quite a bit. I want him here for a good while. I question how much higher his ceiling goes is the only thing. What if we get the number 2 pick and draft Zion? If we get the number 2 pick, Zion's going to be gone at 1 anyway. So whoever's 1 is taking Zion. I have zero doubt about that. Bobby R., how are you feeling about Rozier? Not happy at all with Boston. I would be very interested in him, and I think that would be a savvy pickup. I'd be interested in him a lot. Scary Terry. Murray is number 2. Yeah, Morant might be number 2 at this point. Mavs need to land the 5th worst record to have a guaranteed top 5 pick. Yep. A team could be dumb and take RJ number 1. They could be, but it would be a shocking, shocking development at this point. Because if there is one person that the basketball world is obsessed with right now in the U.S. System, in the college system, it's Zion, and it has been the whole time. They picked the players in June. Yeah. So let's just boost Trey in the ATL and hope they win another 5 games. If Atlanta were to foolishly do that and win a few more of these games down the stretch, okay. I'd be down for that for sure. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be awesome. Brunson's definitely a steal, yes. Would the Suns take Morant over Zion? Over Zion? Because of Ayton. Zion's not a center, though, dude. Zion's a 4. He's like 6'8". He's a freaking monster freak of nature, but he's Luka's height. He's just a genetic freak in a way. So I would say the Suns would still take Zion. Morant might be. He's an athletic freak in his own right, kind of like Dennis Smith. I would have some similar reservations about him as a DSJ, but we'll see. Obviously, with that kind of athletic potential, if you can develop and put it all in the right form, so to speak, you could have an unstoppable guy. If we don't get the first pick, I'll love Kobe White. Got to look into him more. Tied with Memphis right now, so let's lose some games. Yep, that would be nice. It was great, a great win to kind of cap. Last night was obviously our best win of the season. It was awesome, and the fact that the Hawks won as well and it didn't hurt our odds any further, that was perfect. That was exactly what we needed. Good, complete basketball game followed up by the fact that our odds didn't get hurt. Can't complain about that at all. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say, well, it would have been better if we had somehow lost and then our odds slightly improved. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so anyway, let's take some questions here, some inputs. before I wrap this episode up. While I'm talking here, I'll summarize some of the stuff I was talking about earlier regarding the channel, the stream, all that. One, I know people have been saying there's a YouTube glitch or bug right now that's come to light. Apparently in this live stream, as you guys are watching me right now, the audio and the video are right in sync. That's great. When I record locally, like if I have my stream going live and I'm recording it, it plays back perfectly synced. After I end the stream, YouTube has to process the video and then it pushes it out to my live, or not my live, my video archive, essentially for the channel. And when you look on the front end, suddenly it's out of sync. It's like a full second off that the audio is coming out ahead of the video. I've done several hours of research into this. I even found that when I went into the back end of the video to place an ad if I wanted to, it plays perfectly in sync there as well. So whatever this issue is, it's on YouTube's side. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't know what to do about it. The only thing I can say is I am frustrated that it's creating this issue because people who aren't here watching live, which there are 44 of you roughly in here right now. So if you do the math of the anywhere from a few hundred to a couple thousand views I usually get on these videos, that's a lot of people that are getting it secondhand, and the first time they're going to see it, it's not going to be in sync, and they're going to assume that I had the issue. And I think that is leading to a handful of people kind of unsubbing lately and, you know, expressing frustration in comments. I'm trying. It's out of my control. The only thing I can say is I can either stop live streams for now, which I don't want to do, or I can do a still graphic like a true podcast. I've done that before, but I know the YouTube algorithm does not favor those. It does not like those, and it will not recommend the videos if I do that. So I kind of have a catch-22 there. I don't know what to do. I'm going to figure out what I can, but we'll see. Other than that, the other thing I was talking about was simply going with a sub-channel that I'm probably going to create. I'm going to call it Cheap Pop, and that's going to be where I put the pop culture content for the Dallas Prospect moving forward. It's not going to upload here. The Dallas Prospect website is still sports and pop culture, but the channel I will keep separated. So if you want to watch my stuff there, when it's ready, I will share a post with it, letting you know the branding and all that, and encouraging you to go subscribe. If you want to see my stuff, if you want to hear me talk about film, whether it's Avengers or Marvel, anything, gaming, whatever, let me know. That's where you can find it. Greatly appreciated. The problem with starting a new sub-channel means that I'm having to start over from square one on that front as far as building up subs towards being able to have ad revenue again. So it means any content I'm rolling out there is pretty much purely bonus content for you guys if you want it, because there's nothing coming from it to me other than hopefully some subscribers. Let me see here. Talked about Brogdon already. I would love to have Brogdon on the team for sure. Yes, he is in the 50-40-90 club as well, which Dirk is also in. Skimming through some of the crosstalk here with some of the people. Kemba's been trapped and triple teamed his whole career. Luka will suffer the same fate if we don't pair him with another dynamic playmaker, says Jason Bryant. I agree. Yeah, we already kind of have that with KP. I know he's not a playmaker in the sense you're talking about, but just another guy that, because of his range, will really make you pay if you're going to trap on Luka, and KP is literally on the court at all because Luka's cross-court passes are phenomenal. If Harden and CP3 works, then Kemba and Luka will be magic. They could be. We kind of thought as much with DSJ, but DSJ has much further to develop, and he may or may not get there, so not quite apples to apples, I grant. Yeah, so If the Mavs get a trio, Zion, Luka, KP, I wouldn't be able to sleep all summer long because of this. Too much hype. If the Mavericks somehow got the number 1 pick, which Tankathon mock drafts do occasionally show they get it. The last stream I did several of them, and I got like 4 or 5 where the Mavericks got the number 1 pick. If that happens, then yes, that would be phenomenal, and that would be a monster trio for the Mavericks. But the odds of that are quite long. I'm just hoping we keep the top 5 pick so that we can either A, draft another very solid piece that we need and have them at a very cost-effective measure, or B, have another pick that we can package for a trade of another substantial player. So, yeah. All right, well, I think it's going to wrap up the time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, ring the notification bell, whatever the hell you want to do. And thank you for watching. I will be back for another live stream of some form next Sunday. In the meantime, I am going to continue my work on... I've got a couple articles I got to write this week for Dallas Sports Fanatic, and I've got some more content coming as well in the form of that podcast. First episode of the podcast, my goal is to roll that out next week. Name still pending, but hang tight. It'll be there. What up, Says? Until next time, guys, remember, every legend was once a prospect. Salute.